All right, what is up, everybody? Shadow Scout 0013 here, coming in with a bunch of new stuff. I'm going to go over 3 different lists, this time with Cassian, and I almost feel like I have to redo a lot of stuff. Obviously, I kind of have to because it's a brand new Legion, not brand new Legion, but yeah, okay, you get it. I don't think I need to re-explain everything on every one because obviously as the new cards come out, I'll kind of go over them and how they work, I guess. But in the meantime, I did want to kind of have a focal point again. This time I'm going to slightly be focusing on Cassian and talking about him as well as K2 because I feel like there are some really cool opportunities and chances to work with 4 operatives in a list, and I'll explain how and why and how it could be a lot of fun. So, yeah, first off, if you want to try to win $25 for an operative or commander, all you have to do is be a subscriber and leave a comment. The second way is if you want to head on over to the Patreon. There you can become a member, and you don't necessarily have to be a paying member to get, benefits, but if you wanted to help just the channel grow, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be subscribing for the Patreon to Tabletop Admiral, and anything that you guys give basically is also going to go to that. It's $1, yeah, and I'm just, it's anything that I get for the channel is going to go for the channel and to make things a little bit better and towards giveaways. So the more help, the better. So that is another way to actually enter in to win. And the last thing is you can head on over to the Discord. I was playing a game actually last night, and it is a ton of fun. I'm really loving the 501st. But if you do have questions on anything, and you're looking for some fun lists, Kyler posts a ton of cool Yoda lists in here. We've got a bunch of different Blizzard Force and other types of lists that, especially the Chosen One, and I will post every now and then. Rebel lists, which I'm kind of going over today, it's going to be fun, so feel free to kind of, check those out. Same thing for like rule questions if you have those. General chat if you've got stuff. I was posting the That's No Moon, the MKGT that Dave Grant won, so congrats to Dave Grant for his Vader Do list. And it, to me, so I played Commander Vader in 3 dues in the last tournament that I went to, and went 2-1. Obviously, that was with the old rules. With the new rules, it seems a lot better. And obviously, I'm not as skilled as Dave Grant when it comes to the Commander Vader, but I'm glad to see that list doing a really fantastic job. And, if you're into hobby stuff, you can feel free to post stuff. I kind of posted in my little area there, so you're welcome to check anything out. If you paint a lot, feel free to post that. Okay, so let's get right back into it. So today, so just do all of that. All of those give you chances to win. And I forgot to say that if you how I pick somebody, or how I add your name, I should say, from the Discord is the server level. Anyone whose name pops up whenever I start, and then so on, that their name goes into the drawing. So that's how you get a chance to win. Okay, so yeah, let's go ahead and get into Cassian. So everyone knows about Cassian. His card has not changed yet, but we now have the ability to have K2 in there, not count towards the max operative slots. So because he has detachment Cassian, it's basically like a free operative. As long as you bring Cassian, you get the free operative. So now you can also bring 2 extra operatives. So I've made a few different lists with the ability to have 3 normal operatives, but if you infiltrate Cassian because you've got a commander, you'll have 4 operatives tokens in your bag. So you have a really great way of having your order control for your ops. So with him, right now I only have his sniper rifle config or his regular config, range 2. In case you're ever wondering if you are in the sniper config and you have to move and you can't get a shot off with that, you can still use his regular covert blaster. If you have to move, you wouldn't be able to obviously use this one because you didn't recover in order to flip it, but you'd at least still get Pierce 1. And you do have tactical, so if you did roll in at least the red hit, you could spend a name to just change one of these to a hit. Luckily, he surges to hit, so there is a chance that you could, wind up rolling all three. And because of the cover rules, I mean, you're doing pretty good, at least to just get all hits, and having that Pierce 1 is really, really nice. So sadly, there's not enough points unless you changed a few things around to get Duck and Cover, which could help out a lot and be a very good, way to get some extra cover with that danger sense. I've got a Rebel Officer in there with portable scanners. Oh, and again, just side note real quick. Thank you, Tabletop Admiral, for being here always, for being here super long, a long time. When I first got started with Legion, Tabletop Admiral was the first thing that I used, and I'm so thankful for Tabletop Admiral and the guy who runs it. Thank you so much. I think we should all give a thanks to this guy for having one of the best, Legion list builders out there. So, okay, back to normal stuff. The Rebel Officer has portable scanner. Since he has Take Cover 1, he'll have Take Cover 2, so he'll be able to hand out 2 dodges, and then he could take a dodge, so he can have 3 dodges to eventually hand out at some point. And then the Inspire 1 is really, really nice, especially with all of the Courage 1 core units. I've got the Operative Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker because he is the best, because of that disengage keyword. With withdrawal, it's just an action now, so it's a speed 1 move, and then so you can withdraw twice, just in case. So, like, maybe say that someone had, we'll just say Anakin. Anakin's in melee with you. You want to withdraw. He's got a standby. He uses the standby to move back into melee with you. Then you can just withdraw again. Yeah, it kind of sucks. It does take eventually both actions in that point. But you can withdraw twice, or you can honestly withdraw and then make a move, take a dodge, take an aim. But you cannot attack and or you cannot engage into another melee after you withdraw. So disengage is really, really nice. He's got Jedi Mind Trick, which is fantastic nowadays because you can hand out 2 suppression tokens and either eventually panic someone, or if you wanted to bring his 1-pip where you serve your master well, you can use one of his own, or you can use one of your opponent's own special forces or core to attack one of their own guys or move off the point. I think, let me see, I know I don't have it in here at the moment, but you can perform 1 free move or attack action with that unit. So yeah, if you wanted to attack also, you could use up an aim. If someone has Yoda and they have the Exemplar, you can use up those aims. If another unit of clones had an aim at that range too, then you could use that aim. You're basically just performing an attack with that unit. So that'd be cool. Or again, like I said, you can move them off the point so that you can score, or at least you're giving them 2 suppression you could panic them. But he doesn't really have a ranged attack, so unless you decided to, instead of do force push, or I would do burst speed because a charge is going to be really nice. And I've got force push on him because he does really good with that to be able to give himself into more melees, or, since he doesn't have a ranged attack, it's nice to be able to kind of get someone closer to you. And then into the fray to kind of get that extra surge token for melee when he is on the defensive, because he's only got deflect, which works in ranged attacks now. So you don't have to spend a dodge to gain deflect. You just automatically have it at this point. So Into the Fray has actually kept my Anakin alive a little bit longer, recently I should say. So I definitely like Into the Fray. This time you've got, sorry guys, that keeps going. So yeah, I have Den, and I think Den's going to be doing really good. He doesn't have Sharpshooter or anything, but because of the new cover rules, it's not that bad. He's got Tactical 1, so anytime he's going to move, he's going to get an aim. He's got Independent Aim and Dodge, so at least he's going to have 2 aims if you move and decide to shoot. If, by some chance, you have K2 in here, and K2 goes first, you could calculate the odds onto Den. He is Courage 3, so that suppression is probably not going to do anything very much to him. So he'll have possibly 3 aims if he does make a move, which you can spend 1 aim for long shot, 1 aim to re-roll, and 1 aim for lethal. So that way you've got lots of options there. And if you also had, instead of tenacity, up close and personal, then he'd be able to gain a second dodge so that he could have 2 dodge. And then he's got situational awareness to be able to cancel 2 crits if he needed to. So I tried to have up close and personal on there, but with what I was doing, it just turned out to where I couldn't. So if you want to rearrange points based on how you want to play, then that's fine. I've got tenacity on him in order to have 6 attack dice in melee. And I wanted the Amband rifle for 2 reasons. One, if, by some chance, Luke is in melee or someone's in melee and you're going with Din first and your opponent only has 1 health left, maybe you could try to get that person off so he doesn't have to use force push on that one guy. He does have disengage, so it really wouldn't matter. So, but you can use Amband to shoot into melee. It's suppressive and immobilized too. And with everything being very mobile, I should say the objectives being very, very mobile, and a secondary objective, trying to give out suppression to everybody, then the suppressive is also pretty good. So these 2 keywords are very great, objectively speaking. So I like those. I've got the jetpack on them because speed 3 right now is going to be really, really good. And jump 2 obviously is really nice. The flame projector is spray and blast. So say goodbye to 11-man groups or all those B1s. Say goodbye to an entire huge thing. You can just bomb him in there. And if you had his 1 pip, you could do a lot with that. If you play his 2 pip, it's even better. So maybe you move, gaining 2 aims. You attack. Sorry, you can't move, and attack. All right, sorry. You move and attack, and then you get a second attack because the 2 pip, as far as I know, I like those odds. So after Din performs an attack action, he can perform an additional attack action against a different unit. So as far as I'm aware, and if I'm wrong, leave a comment down below for not only me to see, but everyone else in the video to see. This would be a good time to kind of check the comments at that point. So as far as I'm aware, you could move, attack, and then get another free attack off. So, or whatever, if you are at least in melee with somebody, if you're in melee with a small group next to a big group, so a small group next to a big unit, I should say, he's got Arsenal too, I think, right? Yeah, so you could use the Vibro Knife and his Amband with tenacity if he's injured, to roll 6 Pierce 1 into whoever you're in. Hopefully that deletes them. And then if he's free, then hopefully the big unit next to you could Flame Projector and use his pistol to do a ton of damage. Also still lethal. And I think that card gives you an aim, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, it gives him an aim. So even if he took an aim, so he could have 2 aims at that point. There's a lot of stuff he could do. And again, with the amount of units that are out there and how big they are, the reason I chose Luke and Din on top of having like Cassian in there is because Luke Skywalker, he's got Son of Skywalker, which gives him 2 attacks. And then Din also has 2 attacks. So you're able to do a few other free things. Now, this is the way in order to give him Relentless, but obviously, if you wanted to play You Serve Your Master Well instead, by all means. I was just thinking, they're both going to be just as good. If not, this one a little bit better, because say they have a whole bunch of arcs lying around, you could just Jedi Mind Trick the arcs, give them 2 suppression. Now they're suppressed, then you can use that unit to perform a free action. You can move and charge, because you could do a free move action, which also triggers that free. It's not a speed. So we were having this discussion last time. So a speed X move is not a move action. It is a speed X move. So this came up in another game where if Anakin used Burst of Speed the last round, he's got an immobilized token this round. Well, because of Tempted, if one of Anakin's, what if a clone unit, dies within range 3 of him, or at range 3, I should say, then Anakin gets to make a free speed 2 move. Even though he has an immobilized token, it's not a move action, and an immobilized token only affects max speed. So if his max speed was 0, obviously he can't make a speed whatever move. But because he's speed 1, he still has speed, and so he can make a speed 2 move. And another way to explain this is if it's like a reverse Leia's 2-pip. So if Leia's 2-pip said make a speed 2 move, or sorry, not make a speed 2 move, you can, move speed 2, make that action, do a speed 2 action. With a Rebel Vet, they're speed 1. So technically they couldn't do speed 2, but because it's the card action of speed 2, they can move that way. So same with Anakin if he has an immobilized token. And if you want to talk to me about this, I've tried to ask multiple people, and they've said that even though he has a mobilized token, it affects his max speed, but it doesn't. He's not at 0, so he can still move the speed 2. So if that is something, leave a comment down below about that. But where was I going with this? Oh man, now I've just lost my train of thought going on a tangent. But oh man, you know what? I completely forgot. I can't believe that. Oh well. Let's see. Whatever. So we have. What was I trying to talk about? God, now I'm gonna hit myself for this. Son of Skywalker, this is him. Mission. I'm a Jedi. This is the way. I mean, obviously, I'm probably talking about this, but all right. You know what? Let's go back to this. I'm sorry, guys. I am really sorry. Okay, so we have K2. K2 has Jin's blaster. And I'm sorry if I didn't finish that thought. I am so sorry, guys. But please forgive me. I am so random on this. The speed 2 tangent. Maybe it'll come back to me at some point. Just kind of got to me. Man, I cannot believe what I was thinking. Oh, well. I have Jin's 2 blaster on here because it's also suppressive. So it's another great way to hand out suppression. And obviously, if you had Jin, it would be 5 points cheaper. And you could make one and have a whole bunch of infiltrate on the board between Pathfinders, her, and I might do another one with you live after this in a second, if you don't mind, to just come up with a as much of an infiltrate and scouting list as possible, just to kind of help with the objectives and keep them live. But so that's Din. K2 with his calculate the odds on either Din or Luke to give Luke an aim and a dodge and suppression. He's got 4 courage, so it's not going to matter for him. So having an extra aim and dodge on him is going to be nice, especially when he is going to burst of speed that round, because then he could burst and then attack, have an aim. So that's pretty awesome. All right, so I have a Rebel Veterans squad here with the CMO93 for a range 4 gun. I've got a Fleet Trooper unit with the Scattergun for the Pierce, because they've also got charge now. So you're going to be able to use the Scattergun in melee to get that Pierce. I've given them the entire fleet squad. 1, to give them Indomitable, and 2, because the fact that they've got charge, 2 dice each, and Pierce, they're going to be doing a lot of dice rolling. And I've decided to give them Recon Intel as well, because obviously you want to kind of get as close as possible in this game as fast as possible. I've got 2 Rebel Trooper units in here with the DL20 A gun for the extra range 4 critical 1, kind of hopefully to get a little bit into some armor. And I've got a Mark II medium blaster as well. The Rebel Troopers, there are 2 medics in this list, and both Rebel Troopers have the Recon Intel. Another great thing about getting Recon Intel on the Rebel Troopers is anytime they make a move, which Scout is now a move action, that Agile 1 triggers. So they're going to be able to scout, move, gain 2 dodges, and then even possibly shoot if you just wanted to take a random shot. because that range 4, after, you're basically going, what? Speed 1 is 4 inches, and then speed 2 is 6 inches. So you're going 10 inches, and then you get to shoot another, range 4, 24 inches. So 24 plus, what did I just say? 12. Yeah, 6, 9. So 9 plus, what did I say, 24? So 33 inches from the board edge to be able to hit a target. So another great thing to think about is what Kyler was talking to me about in the last game is when you are deploying, I mean, if you're looking at a few things that they have left, or you're taking kind of like if it's a regular rebel, or not rebel, if it's a regular trooper mini, then it's a lot easier than trying to memorize the base size of a lot of things. So unless you want to do that, there is a chart that I've got that's got the base sizes of everything, and I'm sure you could convert that into inches. But it's nice to know, like, hey, you might not want to scout 2, do a speed 2 move, and then another speed 2 move, and you're going so far in the very first round, and then all of a sudden they scout up, take an aim, and shoot you, and you don't want that. So with the fleet troopers, yeah, so if you got recon intel, you're moving 4 inches, and then 6 inches. So that's 10 inches, 24, so that'd be 34 inches. Sorry. Okay, so yeah, so you've got 4 inches here. They're going to be able to double move. That's 12 inches. So then you've just moved 16 inches. Or if you do your scout for 4, you move 10 inches, and then they've got 12 inches of shooting. So now you're at 22 inches off the side edge of the board that they can make a shot. And I would maybe calculate, if your opponent maybe had scout 2, and then they decided to try to get too aggressive, and they just did 18 inches of movement off the board, well, more than likely you're going to be able to hit them. I gotta memorize the actual, is this 3 feet? So that's 36 inches. So 36 minus 18, you're definitely hitting them with the 22 inches or so. So yeah, lots of things to think about, lots of ways to be able to get some hits through. So sorry this took so long for the first list, but mostly, getting Luke in there, getting Din in there, making 2 attack actions as much as possible with these guys is what I wanted to do. Giving them some extra tokens with the calculate the odds, and possibly giving Luke a dodge from the Rebel Officer. And with Exemplar, you can Exemplar that dodge to Luke or Cassian or K2, not to Din, because Din is not the same affiliation. He's a mercenary, so you won't be able to Exemplar to Din. All right, so off to the second out of 3, and then I'll make a 4th one for you guys here and just kind of give you some thought process on stuff. Lando with Underworld connections, because we're going to have the Bad Batch and Din. So we have Lando with Underworld, mostly for his 2-pip. We have Cassian with Duck and Cover and his configuration gun. So that way he's a little bit more useful, at least with the danger sense with that Duck and Cover. You have the Bad Batch with everybody, because that's going to be fun. Oh, man, oops. I forgot about the Omega, which is going to be, well, not important, because there is no claim right now. There's no claim, sabotage, repair. So you're okay without her, and it's just 2 white dice, which, I mean, that's okay, but, to save 10 points isn't that bad. And then you have Din with up close this time, situational, and kind of what I wanted him with last time. And then you've got the Beskar Spear to be able to give him duelist. So he'd have Pierce 2 if you use this with his Vibro Knife. And he's going to be immune to Pierce when you spend a dodge token, which he has on Independent. So if you don't give him an aim, or don't give him an order, he's going to gain that dodge, which then you could use for getting immune to Pierce, especially with all of the Force users out there, and even the Wookiee Battle Force, being able to spend an aim with their duelist. So that kind of helps protect Din a little bit more. Even though he has Impervious, you can't count on Impervious all the time. And so, yeah, and now you've also got K2. Now, he doesn't have the gun, but still, he can with his calculate the odds, give the Bad Batch an aim and a dodge and a suppression, sure, yeah. But maybe you go with them after and you roll off the suppression, hopefully, God willing. And, scale, steady, sharpshooter 1 is really, really good, especially with all of the other keywords they have. And it's a little bit cheaper than, the clone version with Crosshair. We have one Rebel Trooper with the DLT-20 and Recon Intel. We've got we've got 2 Rebel Troopers in here with DLT-20s, 2 medical droids, and Recon Intel. So out of the 3, there's 2 medical droids. If you wanted, I think that this is going to be important. Again, and even the last one, that was to help Luke and Den. And so now the 4 extra heals you could probably use definitely for the Bad Batch, since they're probably going to get shot up a lot. And everyone's got Recon Intel because they need it. And you have 2 Mandalorian Resistance fighters with the Beskar Duelist, Recon, and Jetpack Rockets. I think that the Mandalorian Resistance is going to be good because, again, Speed 3, Impervious, Surging to block. Yeah, there's not very many of them, and they don't have 2 health each. But the rockets are pretty nice right now with Blast, Impact, and yeah, you're rolling 4. But at least the Beskar Duelist with the Pierce, getting people out into melee is going to be really great, because if you can not lose a guy, or since you've got 2 medical droids and you start losing some Mandos, then obviously you can try to heal back your Mandos, and you're rolling 8 dice in melee, surging to hit, and you have Pierce, so a lot of fun. You've got Pierce with Din, you've got Pierce with Cassian's gun. You don't have Pierce with the Bad Batch, sadly, and at least you've got some pretty decent melee units. 10 activations, which I'm kind of averaging out to. I don't know what the average Rebel list is coming out to, but at least 10 seems to be pretty decent with me right now. And so the Bad Batch is at least a speed 3 for a turn to get off steady. Din Djarin, you could use his 1 pip to get off relentless and move speed 3. So if there are any... So I haven't been really... Let me just real quick go back. So let me talk about the battle plans. So I've got Recover the Research, because with Recover the Research, you only have to contest labs. You don't have to secure them. So getting 10 activations to be able to contest, with the Rebel Troopers, the Fleet Troopers, you have 4 operatives possibly that can kind of infiltrate and get in and do a bunch of stuff. So I think, Recover the Research isn't that bad. Bunker Assault I've got because it's operatives and special forces that are there. You could possibly, again, have 4 really good operatives that if they're trying to focus on them, all your other guys are just going to start shooting away and or at least securing your own home bunker. And with Close the Pocket, like I said, now you've got the Bad Batch who can move in speed 3, move this way speed 3, shoot. You've got Din who can move in speed 3, and either make it to the other side if they needed to, and you wanted to save your Bad Batch 3 pip for another time, you could do that. That'd be cool. And another good thing about Mando is his 3 pip. If, again, he could probably take on huge units fairly decently between his 3 pip and his flamethrower. So I hope to see Din on the table more. I love Din. I'm probably going to be bringing him in a few Empire lists because, again, you're going to want to just missile him into huge units. And yeah, so I've got those main things because of the speed 3 and all of the operatives. I've got Sweep and Clear because you've got the Amban rifle in this one. You've got some long range 4 guns. So if you did get some extra kills, that could be okay. And between all of the different operatives and stuff that you've got, they might just choose your operatives, and that's all. But at least then you can just keep them safe and kind of do what you can until the end if you have to. And then Sweep and Clear because Din can move into enemy territory fairly quickly, possibly. And the Bad Batch with their speed 3, even just if you saved it and then eventually got into their territory, that could be good. And yeah, cunning deployment for some extra dodges on them. Ordnance for any impact, extra impact, if you can get it off successfully. And advanced intel because you can never have enough pass tokens. You can never have enough. Okay, so yeah, with the Mandos, the battle plans, marked targets again. And the other reason I have marked targets is because that's only a max of 4 victory points. And in case you are losing pretty bad on primaries, as long as you're keeping your guys safe, you're probably going to have to... You could eventually maybe come back if you just try to take out their marked targets, but at least that's up to 4. So unlike Bring Them to Heal, where they could just go crazy with the amount of victory points, that kind of keeps it low. Sweep and Clear is also a 5, so that's not too bad. And Destroy Enemy Base is up to 4. So at least you've got that. And with Destroy Enemy Base, you've got Mandalorian Resistances, which are speed 3, and you've got Den, which is speed 3. You've got the Bad Batch, which can, at least for a turn, go speed 3. So you're going to be able to get in and use this secondary fairly quickly. Close the pocket again because you've got speed 3 units that can get in here and hold it down, hopefully. Bunker Assault, you've got you've got 4 operatives possibly and 2 special forces that are very quick. So that is just kind of, again, a missile shot towards your opponent's objective to try and see what you can do there. And then Recover the Research, again, just contesting. And it's fairly easy that, you can send some people this way. We're just assuming you're blue player. So, taking these 3 is probably going to be the best. And then here, that 4th one, you can also, if you've got the ability to have some stronger units, hold this objective, these 2, and then move your way to that 4th one. You can do that because then you've at least got the 3 on lockdown for sure, round 2, and then work on that 4th one, and then try to hold the line the best you can and dwindle down as much as possible on one side. That's totally up to you. Fortified positions because rebels need as much heavy cover as possible. Cunning deployment for those extra dodge tokens on especially your Mandos and or the Bad Batch. And then advanced intel, again, you can never have enough pass tokens. All right, and for command cards, I did decide to go with, I've altered the deal in the contingencies, or no, I guess, sorry, that's not altered the deal. It's Ace Up His Sleeves that I decided to do in contingencies to give the Bad Batch in order. This is the way because, again, Relentless is pretty nice. Crack Shot allows them to have 2 different shots. We Do What We Do allows for, steady at a longer range. Whistling Birds is going to be great against huge units because choose up to 3 enemy units at range 1 in line of sight. And for each unit, you can roll a white attack dice for each mini. So if they've got 11 minis, you're rolling 11 dice, and the chances of getting paint are hopefully high. There's no dice thing on here to be able to use that I know of to kind of give you an idea, but yeah, not too bad. And then Last Stand, because again, you're going to have so many operatives that you can use, especially Den or something like that. Yeah, so there's a few things. Sacrifice in case you wanted to. So I know with the Bad Batch, the We're Not Regs allows you not to benefit from backup and stuff like that, but it doesn't say that you can't use sacrifice to sacrifice K2 so that they cannot shoot the Bad Batch that round. So I think being able to use sacrifice instead of Whistling Birds just in case. And then you also have Volunteer Mission in case you wanted to recover with a unit, get off a ton of suppression, and prevent a whole bunch of stuff happening with that secondary mission. Yeah, it's up to you. All right, and last one that I prepared is Cassian with Duck and Cover and his config as well. You've got a Rebel Officer with Portable Scanner. You've got Luke, again with Burst, Jedi Mind Trick, Push into the fray. You have Ahsoka with Burst of Speed, Force Reflexes, into the fray, and seize the initiative. You've got K2 to be able to hand out some dodges and aims to Ahsoka or Luke. And I mean, Ahsoka's going to be good if she has an aim and a dodge, and then Force Reflex to give her another dodge. So then you can just re-roll a bunch and then make things crits. And she's good. She's going to be good into armor, especially after K2 gets her an aim and a dodge, because then you can just re-roll those whites if they haven't done anything. Hopefully you've rolled some surges and or at least a few hits. And then between the dodge that K2 gave her and the Force Reflexes, and maybe even she took a dodge beforehand, she can just basically Jark High those hits to crits, Pierce 2, Impact 2, so maybe you can get a full boat up against an armored unit. We'll see, but that is one thing to do. K2 does have the blaster because he surges to crit. It's oppressive, Pierce 1, really, really nice when you do have the points for it. I've got Rebel Trooper with the SX-21 because, again, everything is getting in fairly close, fairly quickly, so having the Impact 1 with some red and white isn't too bad. Recon Intel to be able to get this guy a little bit closer. You've got a Rebel Trooper with a Z6, Recon, and Impact Grenades to have a little bit more impact, and lots of white dice just to have for fun. You have 2 Ewok Skirmishers with the Axe Ewoks and the entire Skirmisher Squad and Forest Dwellers. That way they all at least get Scout 1 because they don't have a gear slot for Recon, so this allows them, if you don't have Wicket for Scouting Party, to get that extra Scout and a Dodge, which is very, very, very nice, along with, low profile. Awesome. So there you go with them. You've also got another Rebel Trooper unit with the DLT-20 and Recon Intel. So you could have fairly decent order control, which is one thing that I was thinking about during this list. So you've got only core in here and operatives besides the Rebel Officer. So just infiltrate in with him. Give yourself 4 op slots, 5 core slots, and a commander. And then whenever you give orders, it's not going to be that bad. And then with commands, I've gone with I am no Jedi, Son of Skywalker, my ally is the Force, Last Stand, volunteer mission for some free recovers between Cassian and Ahsoka, A New Beginning for another free recover to get that Force Reflexes back, and the dodge and giving Luke a free dodge or aim, whatever he needs. So I feel like they're going to be a great pair together now. And the fact that you can also get a ton of charging units, because even though they don't have I guess these guys don't have the charge keyword. I'm assuming that is was that call to arms? Yeah, call to arms. If you don't want, you'd have to find some more points for it. So if you want to do that, you can. That's totally up to you. I think Scout is not that bad to have, and a free dodge with the low profile. So if you wanted to just go with a Trapper, then you could definitely save a lot of points, give yourself the call to arms instead, and Forest Dwellers. So you've got a ton of points left. Then instead of the Z6, you could actually give yourself that DLT. So you have 2 of those. Yeah. And then, let's see. And then if you wanted to give them some impact grenades, I'm sure you could. That gives you 17 points left to kind of do what you want. You could probably, again, go right there. 3 extra points. And, that's not the one I meant. I meant to do the DLT. Give them the impact grenades, 10 activations, $9.99. There's a lot of stuff you could do with that, but that is completely up to you. You know what? Yeah, let's keep it that way. $9.99, and if actually maybe say that let's see, because everyone's already got Recon Intel. Maybe you get rid of an impact grenade. 4 points left to give K2 an emergency transponder, because then you can also teamwork that to Cassian in case Cassian needs something. So now you've got something a little bit more to give to Cassian if he calculates the odds on Ahsoka and then maybe takes an aim, and then he can emergency transponder an aim, so Cassian gets 2, and then Cassian can move and do a bunch of stuff. Battle plans. Yeah, I've got marked targets again, just because it's 4 extra victory points instead of a whole bunch with bring them to heal. Destroy the enemy base because you've got Luke that can burst the speed in, Ahsoka that can burst the speed in. K2 can't get it because I would assume that unless he's performed an attack or used an objective card action this turn, and I'm assuming with destroy the enemy base, if you give him, now I'm not sure about this one, so if you want to leave a comment down below for me to understand this would be great. But if he's got a bomb, would that stop his incognito? That's something to kind of think about there. So yeah, that is this one. I've also got close the pocket again because you can get K2 just to walk towards the middle and then eventually have him just start scoring the middle and start taking shots as he's already there instead of trying to get shot as he goes to the middle. And he could be handing out, calculate the odds, and then move, calculate the odds, and then move. And then by the end of the game, you've at least got multiple units there. Bunker assault, because again, so many, well, it's not so many, but you have at least 4 operatives in there. And then recover the research is a lot of contesting. And you've got a few charge units between the rebel troopers here, Ahsoka, and Luke. So not too bad, I would say. Now, real quick, let's go ahead and let's start a new one real fast of rebels and get a whole bunch of infiltrate and scout. So let's go with Jin, Cass. We'll get K2 in here, and let's see. Jin will have the free. K2 will get 5 points instead of 10. Cassian will have at least duck and cover for now in his config. Jin also, let's see, she's got nimble, quick thinking still, so situational awareness wouldn't be that bad. CC initiative probably wouldn't be that bad. Duck and cover could be okay because of quick thinking, or sorry, danger sense. She doesn't need recon intel because of that. Portable scanners. Let's wait and see. All right, so we have those 3 guys. Let's see. We can also go with. If we wanted to go a, Rogue One theme, we could do that. But why not go with Wicket? Because you can bring 1. Call to Arms could be okay. He's already got Relentless. Forest Dwellers, he's already got Scouting Party. But if you gave him the... He's only got Scout 1. You could also give him a Scout Dose. And then... Let's see. He already does all of this. He's got Relentless, Unhindered, Sharpshooter 2. Give him Tenacity. We'll just leave it at there for now. Let's see. We got to have 3 core. Wait, hold on. Yep. Can't have Wicket. My bad. We've already got 2 commanders here. That's all right. And then, so for, what? R2. He's got Infiltrate. Why not go with him? And then, all right, we have Rebel Veterans and the Mark II. They have Prepared Positions, which is, I guess, the core version of Infiltrate, because they just start anywhere before anything starts. And maybe you just give them the Comms Technician with the HQ uplink. So not only can they coordinate to the Mark II, but at least you've got some better order control between them. And they'll start out with a dodge. They've got low profile as well. Let's go with some Ewok skirmishers who will also have low profile. And you know what? Let's go with a full bunch of these things. Let's go with, Forest Dwellers and Call to Arms. Go with 2 of those bad boys. Now they've got Scout 1. And then all of these guys, again, basically the Infiltrate. And then let's go with the Pathfinders. So Pathfinders, we've got Bistan. We're going to give them the free A300 config. And we're going to give them Duck and Cover. Let's see. You know what? And I want some medics for sure. We've got 1 Pathfinder. Should we do 2? That is a tough decision. You know what? We're going to get rid of one of those and put a medical droid on one of the vets. Get a Rebel Trooper there. No, we'll get rid of that so that we can try to do another Pathfinders. Can we fit POW in there and the config in there? So, ooh, well, Scout 1 is really nice. Charge is really nice. That wouldn't be doing anything. That'd give me like, and so a medical droid's 18 points. The Rebel Technician and the HQ uplink is 19, so you'd only have 1 extra point. We have 2 medical droids in there. Well, we've only got 1 Mark II blaster. That's 58. That could give us a lot of extra points. Okay, so instead of the Rebel Comms Tech, we're just going to do 2 Rebel Veterans with the medical droids. Does kind of sacrifice a little bit of order control, but we do at least get... Do we not get a second Mark II? How do we not get a second Mark II? I thought we have two Rebel Vets in here. Are we only allowed to take... Oh, we've got 2 right here. Okay. Oh, okay. Well, you know what? Rebel Troopers are only 40 points. That's 18. Yeah, we could get that in there, but we can't do Duck and Cover because we're 1 point shy. Just 1 point. That gives us 3 medical droids. Do we need 3 medical droids? No, we'll do 2. We'll give out a Rebel Comms Tech and HQ uplink, at least for one of them. 13 activations. You've got Jin with the Infiltrate. Cassian with Infiltrate. K2 is as a detachment from Cassian, so whatever. You have R2 with Infiltrate. You've got Rebel Veterans with the Prepared Supplies. Rebel Veterans again with prepared positions, not prepared supplies. Oh, yeah, this guy doesn't have recon intel on him. Man. 2 Rebel Pathfinders have Infiltrate. The Mark II is going to have... So, do they have prepared positions as well? If I'm missing something about detachments, did detachments also get to infiltrate with them? See, with the detachment stuff, I haven't had that really, so I don't think it does. So I think they'd have to do that on their own. But for the most part, you do have a lot of already on the field stuff. Maybe instead of a Rebel Trooper, you just go with another Rebel Vet. You got 3 Rebel Vets on there. And let's do prepared supplies for them. Just keep them alive a little bit longer. You got 5 points left. You could give POW, Duck, and Cover. You've got 3 points left to give someone, a grenade. Maybe since the Rebel Vets are going to be out, you can give them prepared or smoke grenades to kind of get some extra cover for the Ewoks coming in for the low profile. The Rebel Vets have also low profile, so just getting some extra cover out there wouldn't be that bad. 13 activations. You're pretty much starting on the board wherever you want in your friendly territory. So yeah, I'll save this one as well, guys. And actually, so commands, you know what? Let's let's see what we got. We got Crack Shot for sure. Last Stand, a volunteer mission, definitely. Complete the mission is going to be great because they can't be. So when a friendly trooper with a face-up order token activates, during its activation, it cannot become panicked or suppressed. So eventually, if you did recover with the HQ uplink vets, they're going to gain a suppression token because it says when a friendly trooper is issued an order, it doesn't say buy this card. So if they issue themselves an order, they can gain a suppression token, which will also not quite, well, actually they have Courage 1, so it will activate them being suppressed, which will give them light cover. And then with low profile, that kind of helps as well. And when they activate, it cannot be panic or suppressed, so they'll still get both their actions. So I feel like this would be really, really good with vets because of that. If they have HQ uplink, trust goes both ways. It's not the same as it used to be with the vets and her, but if, you know, she gives it to Cassian and, you know, Cassian takes an aim or dodge, or maybe K2 goes and eventually gives Cassian an aim and a dodge, she'll gain an aim and a dodge. So that's a great way for her to do some stuff. Impromptu immolation is not too bad. It's blast, spray, and suppressive. So if, you know, there's a bunch of guys coming towards, you know, him, that could be okay. Rebellious, you know, she's going to gain charge, and then only once per round when enemy units at range 1 and 2 and in line of sight of her, she activates and stuff. But I think Blast Off would actually be pretty fun, because then he is going to be speed 2, he's going to gain a dodge and suppression token, so he can't be shot because of the, what keyword was that one again? The inconspicuous. And if K2 eventually had to give R2-D2, you know, an aim, a dodge, and suppression, at least he's got the suppression from Calculate the Odds. He can't do anything. Or sorry, no one can shoot him because of the inconspicuous. And R2 can also help, you know, repair K2 in case K2 does decide to shoot something a lot faster. So you've got some synergy between R2 and K2. And I mean, why not? Why not take his 1 pip to get that, you know, secret mission as fast as possibly done? Let's see. You do have, how many suppressive units do we have? You've got the Rebel Pathfinders with Bistan. They're going to have a ton of suppression between duck and cover and all that stuff. So we do not want bring them to heal. Sweep and clear could be okay because you've got a lot of good guns. Surface scan, recon. You know, let's do a recon. Let's do surface scan because those are the easiest. And then mark targets. You know, those are all going to give you about 4 extra tokens, VP tokens. So at least you're not losing or gaining very, very much like you would if you were to do sweep and clear and or bring them to heal. Close the pocket could be okay because you're starting so far on the board. Bunker assault because you do have quite a bit of operatives and special forces. And again, recover the research doesn't, you don't have to secure it. You just have to be contesting. So that's not too bad. Cunning deployment is really nice to start off with some dodges. Advanced intel, because you have 13 activations. More than likely, your opponent's going to get some pass tokens. So at least getting 1 pass token so that they have to go next and either pass and use that up for them, or they just don't think about it and they start deploying somebody. So I think advanced intel is going to be very, very good. You know, garrison, if you wanted to, because you do have, let's see, they all have infiltrate. They've got scout. They all have prepared positions. They all have infiltrate, basically. You don't need garrison. So fortified positions actually would be pretty good with the amount of prepared positions people you have. So a fortified prepared position is a good position. And I'll just save this one as Jin, Cassian, infiltrate stuff. Jin, Cass, infiltrate. Yeah. Whoop. Infiltrate. Infiltrate. Yeah, cool. So we'll save that for you guys, and I'll put these lists in the descriptions down below. All right, guys. That is it. Sorry this video took so long. It was an hour of just explaining a bunch of stuff, losing my train of thought, and I hope that the audio is good. I am almost peaking in the red at this point to try to get you guys some pretty decent audio. So let me know if that's all right. And yeah, again, shout out to Tabletop Admiral. Thank you so much for all that you're doing with this website and this list builder. It's fantastic. It's working really nicely. Go ahead and head on over to the Clan of Shadows to become a member. Help the Patreon grow so that I can do more for you guys with giveaways and whatnot. Become a subscriber, leave a comment. That'll also get you in to win. And head on over to the Discord and become a talking head. Become whatever you want in here. Talk in general chat, rules, questions, whatever you got. And yeah. All right, guys. Thank you so much. And I will see you in the next video. May the force be with you.